The private room at the Golden Tiger restaurant reeked of expensive cigars and desperation when Kang Min-ho walked past the 50th woman his mother had paraded before him, each one more eager than the last. He rejected them all with barely a glance. Seoul's most feared mafia boss didn't need a trophy wife. Then the door opened. A curvy woman in a simple black dress entered, apologizing profusely in accented Korean. She was looking for the service entrance. Their eyes locked. Something feral and possessive exploded in his chest, a need so overwhelming it stole his breath. She wasn't polished. She was real. Before his mother could dismiss her, he spoke, her. I want her. Welcome to Afro-Korean romance, where love has no borders. If you believe in love, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Afro-Korean romance stories. Virginia had taken this catering job to pay off her student loans, not to stumble into a room full of Korea's criminal elite. I'm so sorry, she said quickly, backing toward the door. Wrong room. Stop. The word came from the man at the head of the table. Everything about him screamed danger, sharp jawline, cold eyes, the way everyone else in the room seemed to hold their breath when he spoke. His mother, an elegant woman dripping in diamonds, looked horrified. She launched into rapid Korean. Virginia caught enough to understand, she's nobody. A foreigner. Completely inappropriate. The man stood. Even across the room, Virginia felt the weight of his presence. What's your name? Virginia. I really should. Sit down, Virginia. It wasn't a request. Something in his voice made her legs move before her brain caught up. She sank into the nearest chair, heart hammering. He dismissed everyone else with a wave. His mother protested, he silenced her with a look. Within minutes, the room emptied except for one man who lingered by the door, tall, watching everything. Min-ho circled the table slowly, studying her. You're going to be my wife. Virginia's laugh came out slightly hysterical. I don't even know you. Kang Min-ho. He sat across from her, fingers steepled. And you're going to know everything about me very soon. 3 days later, Virginia was still trying to understand how her life had derailed so completely. Min-ho had given her a choice, on paper. Agree to a contract engagement, live in his protected apartment, attend events as his fiancée. In exchange, her loans would disappear, her family back home would receive a generous monthly stipend, and she'd be compensated handsomely. Or refuse, and pray his enemies didn't notice she'd spent 3 hours in a private room with Seoul's most dangerous man. She'd signed. Now she stood in a luxury boutique while a team of stylists fussed over her, per Min-ho's instructions. He wanted her at a charity gala tonight. His world needed to see her on his arm. He's never brought anyone before, one stylist whispered in Korean, not realizing Virginia understood more than she let on. They say he's killed men for less than looking at him wrong. Virginia's hands trembled as they zipped her into a midnight blue gown that hugged every curve. When Min-ho arrived to collect her, his eyes darkened the moment he saw her. He dismissed the stylists with a curt nod, then circled her slowly, the way a predator circles prey. Perfect, he murmured. Then he fastened a diamond necklace around her throat, his fingers brushing her skin. Stay close to me tonight. Don't talk to anyone I haven't approved. I'm not a child. His hand caught her chin, tilting her face up. No. You're mine. There's a difference. The gala was a glittering nightmare. Virginia smiled until her face hurt, nodded politely while Min-ho introduced her to politicians, businessmen, and people whose eyes held the same cold calculation as his. His hand never left the small of her back, possessive, constant. You're doing well, he murmured during a quiet moment. Almost gentle. Then Kim Tae-hyun appeared. Virginia didn't know who he was, but she felt Min-ho's entire body go rigid. The man was handsome, charming, and when he took Virginia's hand to kiss it, she saw murder flash across Min-ho's face. So this is the woman who tamed the beast, Tae-hyun said smoothly in English. Tell me, beautiful, does he treat you well? Or should I offer you better terms? Min-ho moved like lightning. One moment Taehyun was smiling, the next, Min-ho had him by the throat, slammed against the nearest pillar. "Touch her again," Min-ho said softly, "and I'll feed you to the Han River piece by piece." Security rushed over. Virginia's breath caught. But Min-ho released Taehyun, straightened his jacket, and turned back to her as if nothing had happened. "We're leaving." In the car, silence stretched like a blade. Virginia stared out the window, pulse racing. She'd just witnessed the man she was fake engaged to threaten someone's life over a hand kiss. "He's a rival," Min-ho said finally. "He would have used you to get to me." "You didn't have to." "Yes. I did." He turned to her, eyes blazing. "You don't understand what you've walked into. In my world, weakness gets exploited. Hesitation gets you killed. You're the first thing I've wanted in 10 years, Virginia. I won't apologize for protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. This is fake." His laugh was dark. "Keep telling yourself that." Later that night, Virginia couldn't sleep. The penthouse Min-ho had installed her in was beautiful but cold. She wandered to the living room and found him on the balcony, whiskey in hand, staring at the city lights. "Can't sleep either?" She wrapped her arms around herself. He glanced at her, something almost vulnerable crossing his features before the mask returned. "I don't sleep much." She joined him at the railing. Up close, she noticed the scar along his jaw, the weariness in his eyes. "Why me?" "Really?" Min-ho was quiet for a long moment. "Because you looked at me like I was human. Not a monster. Not a king. Just a man." He turned to her. "Do you know how rare that is?" Her breath caught. "I built an empire on fear," he continued. "I've done things that would make you run screaming. But when you walked into that room, lost and apologizing." His hand came up, tucking a curl behind her ear. "I wanted to be the man you saw. Just for a moment." Virginia's heart thundered. "Min-ho. Go to bed, Virginia. Before I do something we'll both regret." But she didn't move. Neither did he. The next week blurred together. Min-ho was gone during the days, handling business she didn't ask about. But he texted constantly. "Eat breakfast. Jaewon will drive you anywhere you need. Don't leave without security." She should have felt trapped. Instead, she felt noticed. Cared for. He sent her favorite coffee each morning, somehow knowing she liked it with cinnamon. Left books on her nightstand in English. Hired a Korean tutor without asking. Small things. Quiet things. When she thanked him one evening, he simply said, "You're under my protection." That means everything. 2 weeks into their arrangement, Virginia was shopping with her assigned bodyguard when someone grabbed her in the parking garage. A cloth over her mouth. Chemical smell. Her vision blurred. She woke in a warehouse, tied to a chair, head pounding. 3 men stood around her, speaking in rapid Korean. "Min-ho will pay anything for her. Or he'll come himself. Either way, we win." Terror clawed up her throat. She struggled against the ropes, but they only tightened. Then gunfire erupted. The warehouse door exploded inward. Min-ho strode through the smoke like an avenging angel, gun in hand, fury carved into every line of his body. Behind him, a dozen armed men spread out. The fight was brutal and quick. When it was over, Min-ho knelt before her, hands shaking as he cut her free. "Are you hurt? Did they touch you?" "I'm okay," she whispered. He pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. "I will burn this entire city down before I let anyone take you again. Do you understand me?" She nodded against his chest, inhaling cedar and gunpowder and something distinctly him. "You're moving into my house," he said. No arguments. This time, she didn't fight him. Min-ho's estate was a fortress disguised as a mansion. Virginia had her own wing, but she found herself gravitating to wherever he was. The office where he worked late into the night. The gym where he sparred with his men. The library where she discovered he read poetry. Surprised, he asked one evening, catching her staring. Yes, she admitted. You don't seem the type. I'm full of surprises. He set down his book. How are you really? After the kidnapping. She hugged herself. Scared. But, safer with you. Something fierce and tender crossed his face. He stood, closing the distance between them. Virginia, this started as a contract. A strategy. His hand cupped her cheek. But somewhere along the way, it became real for me. You became real. Her breath hitched. Min-ho. Tell me to stop, he whispered, and I will. She didn't. His kiss was gentle at first, testing, asking permission. Then she gasped against his mouth and everything ignited. He lifted her easily, her legs wrapping around his waist as he carried her toward his bedroom. Clothes fell away between desperate kisses. His hands mapped every curve like he was memorizing her. Beautiful, he breathed against her skin. So damn beautiful. When they came together, it was like a storm finally breaking, intense, overwhelming, inevitable. Virginia woke alone. Panic seized her immediately. The bed was cold where Min-ho had been. Had last night been a mistake? Would he regret it? She dressed quickly and fled to her wing before he could find her, humiliation burning in her chest. She'd been so stupid. He was a mafia boss. She was a temporary arrangement. Last night didn't change. Her door crashed open. Min-ho stood there, hair disheveled, eyes wild. Why did you leave? I thought. You thought wrong. He crossed to her in 3 strides, gripping her shoulders. I woke up reaching for you. Do you know what that did to me? Finding you gone? Tears pricked her eyes. I didn't think you'd want. Want you? His laugh was incredulous. Virginia, I haven't wanted anything but you since the moment I saw you. Last night wasn't a mistake. It was inevitable. But we're so different. I don't care. He pressed his forehead to hers. I don't care about the differences. I don't care what my world thinks. I care about you. Only you. The following week, Min-ho's mother demanded a meeting. Virginia sat in the elegant tea room, spine straight, while the older woman circled her like a hawk. You're not suitable, she said bluntly. You're not Korean. You have no family connections. No pedigree. I know. Virginia met her gaze steadily. But I love your son. The words hung in the air. She hadn't meant to say them out loud. Mrs. Kang's expression softened slightly. He's different since you came. Lighter. She sighed. But his world is dangerous. Can you survive it? I'll do whatever it takes. That evening, Min-ho found Virginia on the estate's terrace. My mother likes you, he said, joining her at the railing. She'll never admit it, but she does. Virginia smiled. How can you tell? She didn't threaten to have you killed. High praise. He pulled a small box from his pocket. This was supposed to be fake. A contract. But nothing about how I feel is fake anymore. He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. Marry me. Really marry me. Not for strategy or protection. Because I love you. Virginia's breath caught. You, love me? Desperately. Completely. Probably since that first night. He took her hand. I know I'm not an easy man. I know my world is dark. But I swear I will protect you, cherish you, worship you for the rest of my life. Say yes, Virginia. Choose me. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Yes. God, yes. He slid the ring onto her finger and kissed her like she was oxygen itself. The engagement announcement sent shockwaves through Seoul's underworld. Virginia watched the news coverage with Min-ho's arm around her waist, his chin resting on her shoulder. Every major outlet covered the story. Korea's most ruthless mafia boss engaged to an African-American woman he'd chosen over 50 carefully selected candidates. "They're calling you the beauty who tamed the beast," she murmured. "Let them talk." He pressed a kiss to her temple. "As long as they know you're mine." But not everyone was pleased. The threats started within days. Anonymous letters. Graffiti on the estate walls. A dead rat left at the front gate with a note, "Foreign trash doesn't belong here." Min-ho's rage was volcanic. He doubled security, had his men hunt down every lead. But Virginia saw the worry beneath his fury. "Maybe we should slow down," she suggested one evening. "Let things settle." "Absolutely not." He pulled her close. "I won't let cowards dictate our lives. You're going to be my wife, Virginia. Nothing changes that." A few days later, Min-ho had to attend a meeting with the other crime families, a delicate negotiation that required his full attention. "Stay here," he instructed, kissing her deeply before leaving. "Jae-won is outside your door. Don't leave the estate." "I'll be fine," she promised. But an hour after he left, her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Virginia." The voice was distorted. "If you want Min-ho to survive the meeting tonight, you'll come to the address I'm about to send you. Alone. Tell anyone, and he dies." Her blood went cold. "Who is this?" "Someone who knows a bomb is planted in the restaurant where he's sitting right now. You have 1 hour." The line went dead. Virginia's hand shook as the address came through. She knew she should call Jae-won. Should tell someone. But if they were telling the truth about the bomb, she couldn't risk Min-ho's life. She slipped out through the kitchen entrance, avoiding the guards. The address led to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of Seoul. Virginia's heart hammered as she stepped inside. The space was dark, cavernous. Her footsteps echoed. "Hello," she called out. Lights flooded on. Kim Tae-hyun stood in the center of the room, smiling. A dozen armed men surrounded the perimeter. "Right on time," he said. "And alone, just as instructed." "Where's the bomb?" Virginia demanded. "You said." "There is no bomb." Tae-hyun laughed. "But I knew you'd come running if you thought your precious Min-ho was in danger. Love makes people so predictably stupid." Terror and rage roared in her chest. "What do you want?" "To hurt him the way he's hurt me for years. Taking territory. Stealing deals. And now." He circled her slowly. "He's given me the perfect weapon. You." Min-ho was reviewing contracts when Jae-won burst into the private room, face pale. "She's gone." Everything in Min-ho went cold. "What do you mean, gone?" "She slipped out an hour ago. Security footage shows her getting into a taxi. We're tracking it now, but," Jae-won hesitated. "Sir, we intercepted a call to her phone. It came from one of Tae-hyun's burner phones." Min-ho was on his feet, gun already drawn. "Get everyone. Now." The meeting forgotten, he stormed out with 20 armed men behind him. Tae-hyun had Virginia's hands zip-tied behind her back, a gun pressed to her temple. "When Min-ho arrives," he explained casually, "I'm going to make him choose. He can save you, or he can save himself. Either way, I win." Virginia's mind raced. She thought of Min-ho's face when he'd proposed. The gentleness hidden beneath all that danger. "He'll kill you," she said quietly. "Maybe. But watching him suffer first will be worth it." Suddenly, the factory's main door exploded inward. Min-ho stood in the wreckage, backlit by headlights from a dozen vehicles. He looked like death incarnate, suit jacket gone, gun in one hand, cold fury radiating from every inch of him. "Let her go, Tae-hyun." "Or what?" Tae-hyun pressed the gun harder against Virginia's head. She whimpered. "You'll shoot?" You might hit your precious fiancé. You're right. Min-ho lowered his gun. So let's make a trade. Her for me. No. Virginia struggled. Min-ho, don't. Take me instead, Min-ho continued, stepping forward slowly. I'm the one you want to hurt. She's innocent in all this. Taehyun considered, then smiled. Deal. But first, kneel. Virginia watched in horror as Min-ho, the man who made crime lords tremble, sank to his knees in the middle of the factory floor. Min-ho, please. It's okay, he said softly, eyes locked on hers. You're worth it. You've always been worth it. Taehyun shoved Virginia aside and moved toward Min-ho, gun raised. But he'd made a fatal mistake, he'd turned his back on Jae-won, who'd been creeping along the shadows. Everything happened at once. Jae-won fired. Taehyun dropped. Min-ho lunged forward, tackling Virginia to the ground as gunfire erupted. His men poured in from every entrance, engaging Taehyun's guards in a brutal firefight. Min-ho covered Virginia's body with his own, shielding her from the chaos. When the shooting stopped, he pulled back just enough to check her face. Are you hurt? She shook her head, tears streaming. You could have died. Not without you. He cut her zip ties, then pulled her into his arms so tightly she could barely breathe. Never without you. The aftermath was swift. Taehyun was dead. His organization dismantled overnight. Min-ho made it clear to every criminal in Seoul, touch Virginia, even look at her wrong, and face annihilation. But Virginia couldn't shake the image of him kneeling, willing to trade his life for hers. You scared me, she whispered that night as they lay tangled together in his bed. I know. His fingers traced patterns on her bare shoulder. But I meant what I said. You're worth everything. My empire, my life, all of it. I don't want your empire. I just want you. He rolled over, bracing himself above her, eyes intense. You have me. All of me. Every dark, broken piece. She pulled him down into a kiss that quickly turned heated. His hands mapped her curves with reverent hunger. When they came together again, it felt like a claiming, mutual, desperate, complete. 2 months later, Min-ho started coming home earlier. Virginia would find him in the kitchen, attempting to cook dinner. Or in the library, reading beside her in comfortable silence. Small moments of domesticity that felt impossible for a man like him. What are you doing? She asked one evening, watching him struggle with a recipe. Trying to be the man you deserve. He looked up, flour somehow on his cheek. I've spent my whole life being ruthless. I want to learn to be gentle. For you. Her heart melted. She crossed to him, wiping the flour away. You're already both. That's what I love about you. His expression softened in that way it only did for her. Marry me tomorrow. What? I don't want to wait anymore. I want you to be my wife. Officially. Legally. In every way that matters. He caught her hands. Say yes again, Virginia. Yes, she breathed. Always yes. They married in a private ceremony at the estate. Only close family and Min-ho's most trusted men attended. Virginia wore a simple white dress that made Min-ho's breath catch when he saw her. His mother cried, tears of joy she tried to hide. When Min-ho said his vows, his voice was steady but his hands shook. I was empty before you, he said. A shell of a man playing at power. You made me real again. You made me want to be better. I promise to protect you, cherish you, and love you until my last breath. Virginia's tears fell freely. I promise to stand beside you through everything. The darkness and the light. You're not alone anymore, Min-ho. You never will be again. When they kissed, his men erupted in applause. The honeymoon was a week in Jeju Island, somewhere beautiful and far from Seoul's underworld. They spent lazy mornings in bed, afternoons exploring black sand beaches, evenings watching the sunset. Min-ho was different here, relaxed, smiling more freely, touching her constantly like he needed the reassurance she was real. "What are you thinking?" Virginia asked one evening as they walked along the shore. "That I want this forever." He pulled her close. "You, me, somewhere peaceful. Maybe a few kids running around." Her heart skipped. Kids? Too soon? He looked almost shy, an expression she rarely saw on Seoul's most dangerous man. "No. I want that too. A family with you." His kiss was sweet and full of promise. 3 months after the wedding, Virginia felt different. Tired. Nauseous. Emotional over the smallest things. She suspected but was afraid to hope. The pregnancy test confirmed it. She stared at the positive result, hand trembling. They'd talked about children, but this was so soon. Would Min-ho be happy? Scared? She found him in his office, reviewing reports. "Can we talk?" He looked up immediately, reading her expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I'm just..." She took a breath. "I'm pregnant." The silence stretched for 3 heartbeats. Then Min-ho was around the desk, lifting her into his arms, spinning her once before setting her down gently. "You're sure?" She nodded, laughing through sudden tears. "Completely sure." His hands came to rest on her still flat stomach, expression odd. "We made this. You and me. Are you happy?" "Happy?" He laughed, the sound full of wonder. "Virginia, I'm terrified. I have no idea how to be a father. But yes. God, yes, I'm happy." The pregnancy changed everything. Min-ho became even more protective, borderline obsessive. He accompanied her to every doctor's appointment, had the estate baby-proofed months in advance, read every parenting book he could find. "You're going to be an amazing father," Virginia told him one night, watching him assemble a crib with intense focus. "I hope so." He sat back, meeting her eyes. "I want our child to have everything I didn't. Safety. Love. A father who comes home every night. They will. Because they have you." 6 months into her pregnancy, Min-ho made an announcement that shocked everyone. He was stepping back from active leadership of his organization. Promoting Jae-won to handle day-to-day operations. Transitioning to legitimate business only. "You're giving up your empire?" Virginia asked, stunned. "No. I'm choosing a different one." His hand rested on her swollen belly. "You and our child are my empire now. Everything else is just noise." His mother was equally shocked when he told her, but Virginia saw the relief in the older woman's eyes. "You're finally free," Mrs. Kang said softly to her son. Min-ho looked at Virginia. "Yes. I am." 8 months pregnant, Virginia woke to find Min-ho propped on one elbow, watching her sleep. "Creepy," she mumbled. "Can't help it." He brushed hair from her face. "Sometimes I still can't believe this is real. That you chose me despite everything." She placed his hand on her belly, where their baby kicked. "This is real. We're real. I love you," he said fiercely. "More than I knew was possible. I love you too." She pulled him down for a kiss. "Now help me up. Your child is sitting on my bladder." His laugh was warm and free, the sound of a man finally at peace. Their daughter was born on a spring morning, entering the world with a furious cry. Min-ho cried too, standing in the delivery room, holding his tiny daughter for the first time, completely undone. "She's perfect," he whispered. "Just like her mother." Virginia, exhausted but glowing, watched her ruthless Mafia boss husband melt completely for their baby girl. "What should we name her?" "Ji-woo," he said immediately. "It means wisdom and beautiful. Like you." "Ji-woo Kang." Virginia smiled. "Perfect." 3 years later, Virginia stood in the garden of their estate, watching Min-ho chase their toddler daughter through the flowers. Jiwoo shrieked with laughter, her father growling playfully as he scooped her up. Mrs. Kang sat beside Virginia, a rare smile on her face. I was wrong about you, she admitted. You didn't just tame him. You saved him. We saved each other, Virginia corrected. Min-ho caught her eye across the garden, Jiwoo on his shoulders. The look he gave her was pure adoration, the same intensity that had made her breath catch that first night, but tempered now with tenderness and peace. Later, after Jiwoo was in bed, Min-ho found Virginia on their balcony. What are you thinking about? He wrapped his arms around her from behind. How different life is now. How happy I am. Regrets? There was the slightest uncertainty in his voice. She turned in his arms, cupping his face. Never. You're the best decision I ever made, Kang Min-ho. His kiss was slow and deep, full of promise. When he pulled back, his eyes were serious. I spent years building an empire of fear. But you gave me something better, a home. A family. A reason to be more than the monster everyone expected. You were never a monster. Just a man who needed someone to see him. And you saw me. His forehead pressed to hers. From the very first moment, you saw me. They stood together as Seoul sparkled below them, no longer a crime boss and his prize, but husband and wife, partners in every sense, their love stronger than any empire, their future bright with promise. And in the nursery, their daughter slept peacefully, dreaming whatever dreams children dream, safe and loved in a home built not on fear, but on a love that had conquered darkness and danger and every obstacle in its path. A love that had proven, against all odds, that sometimes the most dangerous men have the most tender hearts. And sometimes, the best love stories begin with the most impossible choices.